Hi, welcome. My name is Donna. Let's go ahead and make our way onto our backs today. So go ahead and lie down, and you can just leave your knees bent, your feet planted, so you feel a little more rooted. Start off with resting your palms right alongside your hips. And allow the eyes to close here. Just feel your body just settling into the floor. The eyes are closed. We start to feel relaxed here. We're making our transition to our yoga practice. In our practice, it's essential that whatever part of the body touches the ground becomes the structural base of support. When support is lacking in the base of a movement, the structure higher up compensates by supporting rather than being supported. So an example here is just imagine you're wearing a pair of shoes and the shoes have different heel heights. While that might not affect your feet necessarily on that day, the structure up above is going to start to feel that difference. And it could be the knees, the hips, the lower back. So we want to create this strong base of support in any of our postures or asanas that we do. So as you're lying here, just feel into your own base of support. Whatever part of your body is touching the mat, that is supported, just feel into that. Feel into your own spine. Notice the areas of the spine that are touching the mat, and notice the areas of the spine that naturally curve away from the mat. Allow the hips and pelvis to feel weighted, to feel supportive. The weight is evenly distributed between the right and left buttocks. The same in the backs of the shoulders. And from this support, just begin to deepen your breath. Deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath out through the nose. Gradually allow the breath to deepen a bit more. A little bit longer inhalations followed by a little longer exhalation. And see if you can bring an evenness to the breath. Maybe add a little silent count. Inhale for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. And work with this just for a few more rounds of breath. This equal breathing is referred to as samavriti, or equal movement. And after your next exhalation, bring your palms to rest lightly on your lower abdomen. And imagine that you're breathing into your palms. So as you take that deep breath in, feel the abdomen rise beneath your palms. And as you release the breath, feel the abdomen gently descend back into the body. Practice this diaphragmatic breath a few rounds. And when you come around to your next exhalation, just allow the eyes to drift open, softly gazing up towards the ceiling. Reach arms slightly out to the side and begin to heel toe your feet wider on your mat. They might even come off the side of your mat. And then slowly start to windshield wiper the knees, allowing them to slowly drop from side to side. Stay with that same steady, even breath as we move. This steady breath as we move through our practice actually gives our nervous system the support that it needs. So as we breathe diaphragmatically and maintain an easy, comfortable breath, then it supports the parasympathetic nervous response. So the body, the mind stays relaxed. Let's do one more round from side to side. And as you come back to neutral, start to heel toe those feet back in. Hug your right knee into your chest, flexing the foot. So we're drawing muscular energy into the body. Interlace your hands behind the leg, or if that's not available, just hold on to the leg and start to press your right heel up towards the ceiling. Look up at your toes. Have your foot be very active. So the toes are in alignment and the foot isn't rolling open, which can affect the ankle and possibly affect that knee joint. Now you might choose to stay here with your left knee bent and the foot rooted down, especially if you have lower back issues, or begin to extend that left leg straight out along the length of the mat. Flex that foot as well. Do your best to keep the shoulders relaxed and rooted down as another means of support for the body. Take one more round of breath from here. And then sliding that left foot back in, cross your right ankle just above your left knee and keep that right foot flexed strongly so the ankle remains in neutral. It's not bending on you. Pause here, and you can stay here if you'd like, or lift that left foot off the floor, thread your hands through, and clasp behind the left thigh. Now, if your head is at an awkward angle here, in an effort to grab the leg, see if you can grab a cushion or a blanket and elevate your head so that you maintain that neutral spine. Do your best to keep your tailbone down so we maintain the natural curvatures of the spine. We're not rolling our bum up towards the ceiling. And now rock yourself about 1/2 inch. It's a very subtle movement to the left of your spine. So you might feel a greater degree of stretch in your outer right hip and in that right glute. Those deep glute muscles of the piriformis. And then release that left foot back down. One more time, interlace your hands behind that right thigh. Press that leg up towards the ceiling. And then releasing that right foot down. Hug the left knee into your chest, flexing the left foot. Interlace your hands behind the left thigh and begin to press your left heel up towards the ceiling. Look at your foot, make sure it's very active. Your ankle is in neutral. And if it felt all right on the first side, begin to extend that right leg straight out along the length of your mat, flexing that foot. And then beginning to slide that right foot back in. Cross left ankle right above right knee. Allow that left thigh to externally rotate or move away from the body. Keep in neutral. And if you want, lift your right leg up, thread the hands through, and interlace behind the right thigh, flexing that foot as well. Make sure that your spine stays supported and in neutral, or support the head if you need to. And now roll about 1/2 inch to the right of your spine. See if you're feeling a nice stretch to the outer left hip into that left glute muscle. And then releasing that right foot back down to the mat. Interlace your hands behind the left thigh again and press that left heel up to the ceiling. And then releasing that foot. Walk your heels in just a little closer towards your hips or your sits bones. Rest your palms down alongside your hips. And gently, no gripping, no squeezing, just gently draw the lower abdomen down a little bit. Press down into the floor as we begin to elevate the hips towards the ceiling. Now check in and make sure you've maintained a nice space behind the back of the neck. Shimmy your shoulder blades together. Get a little bit more lift through the chest. So press down through the feet. Feel this supportive action as we rise up. And then slowly allow those hips to descend back down to the mat and pause. We're going to do this a few more times, but the next few rounds, the hips aren't going to come all the way back down to the mat. So here we go. Press down into the mat. Lift the hips up. Bridge pose. Now slowly lower the hips. Pause. Let them hover. Feel like you're lengthening your tailbone in the direction of your heels and lift back up again. And then slowly release. And pause, hover. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels and lift back up again. Watch that your knees stay parallel, that they're not rolling out on you. And then lower down, this is the last time. Hover. Lengthen your tail and lift back up again. Pause here. Feeling the support of the feet, the support of the backs of the shoulders and the back of the skull. And then slowly release yourself down. Just pause and then hug those knees into the chest. Rock yourself a little from side to side. And then rock yourself all the way up. And let's make a transition to a tabletop position. So if you've got sensitive knees, perhaps you use a blanket or something under your knees for extra cushioning. Making our way to a nice tabletop. So let's check in here. I'm going to go through a little checklist for you. Check in that your head hasn't just draped down. So lift the back of the skull up until you feel it aligned with the rest of your spine. Palms are pressing down. Then rotate your armpits. Figure out where they're at in relationship to the rest of your body. This is called proprioception. And wrap your armpits slightly in towards the body. You'll feel the eye of the elbows turning slightly forward. Now let's check in with our spine. Check in that your ribs, your front ribs, haven't collapsed towards the mat. So everyone, lift your ribs up. Then draw the lower belly in as if you're zipping some really snug jeans. So now we have this real nice tabletop position that is making us work our core muscles in the spine and in the front of the body. Breathe here. And then take that right leg straight out behind you. Flex the foot and rotate the toes down so that the hips stay level with one another. Watch that you didn't suddenly sag through the midsection. Again, lift your front ribs in, pause here, and if you feel stable, reach your left hand forward. Don't hold your breath here, as that negatively can affect the nervous system. Take one more breath, and on your exhale, release back down. Check in again, do your little scan that you've maintained alignment here. As we extend the left leg back, flex the foot, and rotate that outer left hip and toes down. Check in with your body again. Lift those front ribs, maintain this action of core, and then reach your right hand forward. Stay with a steady breath. One more breath. And exhale and release back down. Now take your right foot and ankle and kick it back behind you. I'm rolling my toes under. You can't really see that, but I'm going to kick it back. Align your right hand, right knee along the straight line like they're on a balance beam, and then come open to the side. Press your left foot down so you have support. Remember, we're trying to create this nice support for any posture. Right shoulder rolls back. Try not to let it roll forward on you. Maintain this alignment and reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. Now you're welcome to keep that left foot down for support or begin to lift it up. So this is a kneeling half moon pose. Pause here. Keep lengthening your tailbone in the direction of that left heel. Take one more breath here. And then release the left foot down, release that left hand, and come back to center. And then reestablish your neutral. So coming to that second side, I'm going to kick my left foot back. This is kind of like a little stabilizer for the rest of the body. Or think of a kickstand on a bike. Align your left hand with your left knee. We're going to roll open and plant our right foot. I'm going to lengthen my tail towards my right heel as I lean back. Reach your right fingertips up to the ceiling. If that bothers the shoulder joint, hand to your hip. Now, if you want, lift that right leg up. Flex the foot strongly so we're pressing through the right heel. Continue to lengthen the tailbone towards that right heel. Keep breathing, don't panic the nervous system. And then release the right foot, release the hands down, and make your way back to neutral. Curl your toes under, shift your weight back, so we're getting the weight out of the wrist. This is really important. The hands are our support, our foundation and dog. But we don't want all the weight dumping right into those wrists. So shift your weight back. Take a moment, look up at your wrists, and notice how nice they are. They're in neutral, or so they don't have this bend. This is flexion of the wrist. You can see that I have a deep bend. That puts a lot of weight into the heels of my hand and my wrist. But by shifting the weight back, I get that weight out of those wrists. Now we're going to lift the knees up, coming into down dog. I'm going to start this first down dog with bent knees so I can keep the weight out of my wrists, lengthen my arms, and lengthen my spine. Eventually, I might be able to work those heels in the direction of the floor. Don't get too attached if those heels won't touch the floor. As long as you're keeping the weight back and out of those wrists, you're doing well. Find your armpits and wrap them slightly in towards your face or towards midline. And just as we did earlier, draw your front ribs in. Engage your lower abdominals like you're zipping those snug jeans. Now start to walk your hands back. So we're going to end up in a forward fold at the back of our mat. Make sure you maintain a nice soft knee so we're not locking the knees out or hyperextending the knees. If you can't touch the floor, find a block or book or cushion that you can bring the floor up to you. It's not good on the lower back to just round here and hover. So bend your knees as much as you need to. You might be on fingertips. Shake your head no a little bit. Then shake your head yes a little bit. Slide your hands to your shins. As the arms straighten, it's going to elevate the heart until your back is straight. Shoulders slide away from the ears. Again, keep checking with the front body. Ribs in, lower abdominals in. Now slide right back down into your forward fold. And then inhale, lift the heart, long spine. Now sweep the arms forward of the shoulders and rise to stand. Try to maintain a straight back. Bring your hands to your heart. So take a moment here. And I want you to really feel into your feet. So we're standing at the back of the mat. Look down at your feet. Notice if you're rolling to the outer edges, called supination, or rolling to the inner edges, called pronation. Lift up all 10 toes, just the toes. And feel into the four corners of the feet. Inner heel, outer heel. Big toe mound, little toe mound. And then relax those toes down. Watch that you haven't locked your knees out. So put a soft bend in your knees. So we feel completely supported here. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Let your gaze travel up. Exhale, soft bend in the knees, fold forward, Uttanasana. Slide your hands to your shins. Inhale, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Start to walk your hands forward on your mat. So we're coming right back to dog. You're gonna feel the weight transition. Put a bend in your knees. Remind yourself to get the weight back through the hips. And then perhaps move towards straighter legs if it's an option for you today. Inhale your right leg up behind you, keeping your hips level. On your exhale, draw the right knee and look forward and see if you can step your right foot forward just inside that right thumb. If it gets stuck halfway and you can't get it any further, see if you can pick it up and draw it forward. And then release that left knee down. Now, maybe you want a blanket underneath that back knee to give yourself that extra cushioning. Find this low lunge. And I'm going to ask you to do something. This is a yoga term called hugging in. All right? So what I want you to try to do is isometrically, meaning action without movement. Isometrically try and pull your right heel back. It's not going to actually move, but try. Pull it back. And simultaneously try to pull your left knee forward. So right heel is hugging back, left knee is hugging forward, but you're not actually moving, but you can really feel this. Isometric work can be the strongest work. Pause here. Notice how it makes you want to hold your breath because it is so powerful. Take one more breath here. Oh, and then release. Curl your left toes under. Lift your left knee up and step back to your dog pose. Lift your left leg up behind you, hips level, step it through or carry it through, lunge position and release your right knee down. Now pause here as we just kind of settle in, get used to this low lunge. And then to create this strong isometric action, Begin to try to hug your left heel back. Try to pull your right knee forward simultaneously without actually moving. Keep pressing that breath through. One more round of breath here. Relax. Lift your right leg up and step it forward to the top of your mat. So we're back in our forward bend. Inhale, straight arms, elevate the heart. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, elevate the heart. Sweep the arms out and rise to stand. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart and release your hands down. And let's try a quintessential pose of support, which is tree pose. So root down through your feet, just as we did just a few moments earlier. Knees are soft. I'm going to walk my big toes in a little closer. So I'm creating more a unileg, like I have one leg instead of two stems here. Bring your hands to your hip. Press down through your right foot. Lift your left heel up and externally rotate that leg. Now you're going to notice the hips want to shift with you. Bring those frontal hip bones, the ASIS joints, forward. Look forward, maybe not necessarily looking at the screen. You want to find an object that you can gaze at that it's holding still. And this is referred to as your drishti point or your focal point. So find that. And if you feel stable enough to slide those right toes off or the left toes off the mat, do so. The foot needs to be below the knee or above the knee. Pause here and breathe. Bring your palms together at your heart space, Anjali Mudra. Pause. If you would like, grow your roots deeper through the right foot and expand your bows to the ceiling. Take one more breath here. Don't worry if you fall out of the pose, just come back into it. One more breath, and then bring your hands down, rotate the left knee forward and release it down and shake that out. So let's go to the second side. Hands on your hips. Press down through the left foot as that right heel rises. Rotate that right knee out to the side and check in that your hips didn't shift on you. You've maintained alignment. As we root down, creating that support through that left foot, you can lift your right foot up. Doesn't matter how high it lifts. And then find your balance. The breath is still flowing fully and evenly through the body. Bring your palms together at your heart. Grow your roots that support deeper through the left foot as you reach those arms up towards the ceiling. Inhale here. And as you exhale, bring your hands down, knee turns forward and release. And just shake that out a little bit. Making sure you're back at the front of your mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold towards the earth. Inhale, lift your heart. On the exhale, step back to downward facing dog. So establish your strong foundation. And then get that weight moving back. Feel the support through the hands, all 10 fingertips, equally supported. Feel the support through the feet. Inhale, shift forward into plank. Watch that you don't lose your support. You don't want to sag and then try to gain it back. So stay supported. Lift your front ribs up. Draw the navel up. Lower abdomen draws in. Press back through the heels. Reach forward through the center of your chest, your sternum. And now lift your hips high to the ceiling and press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg will rise. On your exhale, see if you can step it forward or carry it forward. Now take that back foot, hop it in just slightly, and set that heel down. As we hug our right hip back, rise up. Bring your hands to your hip bones. Find them. Now here they're really probably tilted forward. So see if you can start to tilt your tailbone down. Lift those frontal hip bones up slightly. Front knee is bent, and that knee is tracking directly over the center of the ankle. Sweep the arms up towards the ceiling. Warrior One position. Virabhadrasana 1. Palms face each other. Slightly turn those pinky fingers in to help externally rotate the shoulders. Breathe here. Inhale here. Now on your exhale, straighten your right leg, release your hands down, and then bend the right knee, breathe in, reach your arms up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more time. Exhale. And inhale. Now spin open into Warrior Two. Make sure your inner right thigh is really working overtime. It's rolling open to keep that knee from moving in towards the big toe side of the foot. Shoulders relax. Gaze is over those right fingertips. Now inhale, arms overhead, straighten your right leg. Exhale, come back to Warrior Two. Breathe in and out. Inhale, exhale. One more. Breathe in and breathe out. Windmill, that left arm up and around, touch down into a lunge. Step back, downward facing dog. Draw your ribs in. Now stay engaged through your front body so that when you shift forward into a plank, you don't start to sag. So stay engaged, slowly shift forward into plank. Gaze is slightly forward of your mat. And then lift back up, down dog. Inhale, lift that left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Now hop your right foot in just a couple inches. Set the heel down. Rise up with your hands at your hips. Begin to make that adjustment. So I want to tilt my tail down. Feel these frontal hip bones rising a little. So I'm not just dumping into the lower back here. Inhale, those arms up and overhead. Warrior One position. Now inhale here. On your exhale, release those fingertips down and straighten your front leg. Inhale, Warrior One. Exhale. Two more. Breathe in and out. Last one. Now inhale into Warrior One. We're going to make that shift into Warrior Two. So there might be a little adjusting of the feet because now we're standing on a balance beam. Gaze out over the left fingertips. Really work your inner left thigh, those adductor muscles to keep that knee in alignment. Inhale, straighten your left leg, reach your arms up. Exhale, Warrior Two. Breathe in and out. Two more. Last one. Windmill your right arm up and around. Touch down into a lunge. Step back to down dog. Breathe here. Then stay engaged through the front lines of the body, shift forward into plank. Now you can lower straight down, or otherwise I'm going to set my knees down. Keep the front body engaged as you bend your elbows and lower all the way down. Stack one hand on top of the other and take a moment and rest your head. Just feel the support of the body here. And reaching strongly, energetically through your toes, sweep your arms back by your hips. Roll your shoulders up towards the ceiling. Now we know we want to create that support. So press your pubic bone gently down into the mat. Lift your legs up. Lift your hands up and start to peel your chest up. Keep your gaze down so you keep the back of your neck elongated. Locust pose, Savasana. Breathe in. Exhale, float down. Turn your head to one side. Walk those thighs together. Energetically reach out through your toes. Gaze down, shoulders up. Press your pubic bone down, stay supported through a foundation. Lift your legs, lift your hands, and peel your heart. Try to breathe here. And release. Bring your hands to frame your chest. Peel yourself up and take your time as you make your way back to child's pose. Find the breath. One more round of breath here. Shift forward to table. Curl your toes under and make your way back to your down dog. And then gaze forward. Start to make your transition to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, elevate the heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, add the arms and rise to stand. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. And release the hands down. So before we make our way all the way down to the floor, I want you to try, we're going to try 2 rounds of a classical sun salutation, Surya Namaskar, okay? The key here, though, is we're talking about this structural support of our postures, of our asanas. So as we do this sun salutation, once the hands are planted, we're going to try not to move them. So what you're going to notice here, perhaps in your sun salutation, is whether you're doing a lot of extraneous movement, all right? If you're doing all this extra movement in your posture, and that kind of burns energy. So let's try this together. Make your way to the top of your mat and find mountain pose Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, soft knees, long spine. Now my hands are planted here. Maybe you're not quite there yet, and that's fine. We're going to step back to down dog. So now my hands are definitely planted, and they are not going to move. Now if you've got too short of a dog, like I'm demonstrating, when you shift forward into plank, you're going to see this is not going to work. All right? So we want to make sure our dog is long enough. Now, when we shift forward into plank, I don't have to move my hands or feet. I'm already here and positioned. Breathe in. Exhale, lower down. Hands don't move. Shoulders back. Inhale, curl the heart open. Try not to lead with your chin. Shoulders roll back. Now curl your toes under, lift up from the navel center and press back dog. I didn't have to move my hands at all. Gaze forward, make your transition back to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift the heart, add the arms, and rise to stand. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart as we close the posture. Release the hands down. So let's try that one more time together so you get used to this idea of not having to do a lot of shifting through the support. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step back to dog. I'm going to dog first so we can get used to a longer dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank. No movement of the hands. Exhale, lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, curl up through cobra, bhujangasana. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. So I've maintained my support all along. Take a deep breath here. And as you exhale, release your knees to the mat. Toes are flat and press back to child's pose, balasana. And begin to steady out the breath. Feel the ribs expand into the back body as you breathe. And we're going to make our way to a seat. So make that safe transition. Bringing the legs out in front of you, take a moment to shake them out. Rotate your wrists a little, especially if they're feeling kind of a little achy from that work. Easy shake. So we're trying to maintain the structural integrity of our postures or our asanas throughout our practice for the safety of our entire body. Meaning whatever is touching the floor has that foundational stability, all right? And if we're doing a lot of shifting around throughout our practice, whether it's through our hands or feet, we start to lose some of that structural stability in our practice. Now, leaving your right leg extended straight in front of you, let's cross that left knee right over the right knee. I'm just kind of bringing that heel in closer towards my right hip. Interlace your hands in front of this left knee and lift your chest. Shoulders relax. Make sure you're pressing your right heel down into the floor, reaching up through the crown of the head. Find the breath here. This pose is called half cow face or Ardha Gomukhasana, or in yin they call it half shoelace pose. Now, if you've got any lower back lumbar disc issues, you might choose to remain here. Otherwise, if it's comfortable for you, we're going to start to hinge forward. Bring your chin in towards your throat to maintain the length in the back of the neck. You could bring your hands down to the mat on either side of the right leg for support, or you may want to reach towards that right foot. Maintain a steady breath here. Now to come out of the pose, you're not going to hear me personally teach you to or cue rounding up in any posture, all right? I want to maintain length in my spine, especially as we age. We know that is something that we begin to lose, that our spine begins to compress. So in my practice, I try to do everything I can to maintain length in my spine. And that includes how I move in and out of a posture. So to come out of this, I'm going to lift my gaze. When I lift my gaze, it starts to get the roundness out of my upper back. And then I hinge from my hip creases using my core muscles to come up with a straight spine. Extend that left leg out. I'm going to take that right knee, cross it over. I'm keeping my extended leg, that foot, very flexed. Take a moment here and sit up nice and tall. See if you can get a little taller, especially if you're feeling as you've aged that there has been some compression of the vertebra, the discs. So sit up nice and tall. And then your choice, if you feel comfortable hinging forward, bring that chin in. And then you choose where you want to take this posture. Now your next in-breath, remember, we're looking forward to create length and space in our spine. We're using all of our core muscles that wrap around the torso to lift us back up. Extend that right leg out and shake those legs out. I'm going to slide my hand along my tushy, get hold of a little butt flesh, and move it back behind me. Try not to grab the flesh and move it out to the side. It's just weird, all right? So move it straight back. My feet are really flexed. This is called dorsiflexion of the ankle. If I don't keep my feet really strong and I relax them, they begin to roll out. And when that happens, I'm no longer getting this even stretch between internal and outer thigh. So I'm going to press through my big toe mounds and do my best to keep my feet in alignment. Press down through your sits bones and reach up through the crown of the head. Some of you might feel more comfortable bringing the hands back for support, especially if the backs of your legs, your hamstrings are fairly tight. Now, if you have any lumbar disc issues, particularly like herniated bulging discs, then it's advisable that you maintain a nice erect spine with the natural curvature in the lumbar spine. If that does not affect you and you feel comfortable and safe folding forward, then we're going to lengthen and we're going to start to hinge. The idea is not how deep we can go, whether our forehead can touch the shins, but more if we can start to bring our belly, our ribs, and our chest down. So just folding over. Some of you may be able to reach for the pinky toe edges of the feet, or your hands may rest down by your shins. For the next few breaths, this is a very subtle movement. In fact, if someone were watching you, they may not realize you were moving at all. As you inhale, try to draw the center of your chest, your sternum, towards your toes. And as you exhale, see if you can find a bit more depth to the pose. Breathing in, we find a little more length. And exhale, we work towards depth. One more time like this. Inhale for length and exhale for depth. Now, as we come up, same policy here. Look up towards your toes, long spine, and hinge your way up. So we're making our core muscles have to work here to maintain this support in the body. Bring the soles of your feet together in Baddha Konasana or bound angle pose. Try not to hold on to your toes. I know they're a great handle, but if we do, we tend to pull up on them, which then bends those, supinates those ankles, which could affect further up into the knee joint. So hold on to your ankles, nice long spine. Energetically, try to press your inner thighs towards the floor. Doesn't matter how much they go, but you can feel this energetic action as you do so. Breathe in here. And you can stay here if you feel like you want to hinge forward again. The chin comes slightly in. Some of you might feel like you want more space. And you could move those feet further away from the body, creating this omega pose and giving yourself more space. Or if you're pretty open through the hips, maybe the heels stay in closer towards the body and you can fold forward. Now notice there is going to be a rounding in the spine here, okay? So the idea is we create as much length first, and then we start to round. Draw your lower abdominals in towards the spine to offer that lower back some support here. Just take a couple more rounds of breath. And then to come out of the pose, start to lift your gaze. Work towards a straight spine as we rise up. Bring those inner thighs together. We're going to make our way all the way onto our backs. Shoulders slide back, engage your core, control your descent down. So you're not just flopping down onto your back. Rest your palms by your side. This is how we began. So take a moment, close your eyes, and just once again, feel the support of the ground beneath you. When we feel supported in our lives, we feel like we can do just about anything. And now draw both knees into your chest, flex your feet, reach your arms out to the side, and start to roll both knees over to the right. Let them settle, let them relax. Now if your left shoulder is popping up away from the floor, instead of allowing it to hang there midair, which can be very damaging to that shoulder joint, if that's the case, just bring your left hand in towards that hip. Otherwise, we keep it down and we get a beautiful stretch along that left shoulder, across the breast tissue, the chest. And then bring your gaze back to neutral first. Bring those legs back to neutral. Allow them to slowly make their way to the left and settle. Right palm turns up towards the ceiling, or you can bring it into the hip if that feels better for that right shoulder joint. Now bring your gaze back to neutral first. Bring yourself back to neutral and give yourself a hug for a job well done today. If your neck feels healthy, you can curl your forehead up, stretch out the back of the neck, but keep your shoulders relaxed away from that scrunching up. And then releasing the head down, rock your head gently from side to side. And one at a time, begin to extend those legs out along the length of the mat. Take your time to adjust so you feel completely supported here. There's equal weight on your left heel and right heel. Equal weight or distribution of weight across the left and right buttocks. You feel equally weighted and balanced on the mat. Then check in with the back of your skull. Make sure you feel like you're resting right on the center of the back of the skull. The eyes will close. And as you start to release here in Savasana, just feel this sense of heaviness or weightiness. Feel the legs become heavier and relaxed. Feel the arms become heavier and relaxed. The back of the skull. Soften the belly and the abdomen. Just notice the support of the floor beneath you. How it supports your body. It supports this transition to relaxation. All of us want to feel supported in our lives. Whether we're seeking that support from an outside source, from a higher power, or from an internal strength. We like to feel supported. We practice yoga to create support, to create balance, strength, and flexibility. And all of these combine to create the support that we need to move through our daily lives. We may also practice yoga to find a sense of equanimity or peace within ourselves. And through that peace, that sense of equanimity, we find our internal strength. This is what supports us through our day-to-day lives. As we deal with everyday stresses, problems, situations. The strength comes from within. And this is a support that we can depend on at all times. As you lie here, you relax. You take a moment to assimilate your practice. Just feel this inner strength that you cultivate. A strength that allows you to face whatever needs to be faced. Feel free to remain in Savasana for as long as you need or want. When you're ready, you can make your way slowly back to a seat. Whether you're making that transition now with me, or you're going to stay here a bit longer. I thank you for taking this time out of your busy days to cultivate strength within ourselves, to cultivate the support, the inner support that we need for our day-to-day lives. Thank you for sharing your practice, sharing my home. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.